So I was asked my opinion on the stat changes relating to the meta mage build I have on my channel. And first off, I think sometime around this week, they said in the initial post that in 3 weeks there were going to be more changes. So that means that the stat changes aren't necessarily finalized yet. So anything that I say in this video should be taken with a grain of salt. But basically, let's quickly go over the stat changes. First off, the main one that we care about is Dex is no longer tied to all weapons hitting. So it now only governs ranged weapons, and the primary stat of the other two types of weapons governs there to hit. Strength was given a % bonus to hit with your weapon attacks, and I believe this applies to all weapons regardless of element. So there's an argument to pump that on pure builds, because 2.5% bonus damage is still something. Dex still gives us our dodge, and all stats contribute to initiative bonus, or all primary stats, so that's strength, dex, and int. So, and luck to a minor degree. And nothing else really received changes. Endurance received some buffs, but it's still... We're a glass cannon, so we're never going to touch endurance, from what I can tell. It doesn't seem worthwhile. Most of the online literature and other stuff that's talking about the Adventure Quest meta seems to have not updated after this, and it's been about 3 weeks. So it looks like the consensus is stats are fine the way they are, keep building what you're building. My opinion on this is stats are fine where they are, keep building what you're building. The dodge is very, very helpful late game. I don't think we can give that up. We have enough power with intelligence and crit from our luck that we don't really need to pump the strength, but you could. The problem is it only applies on weapon hit, and we rely very heavily on spell hits also. So it would only proc on a percentage of our hits. It also, I believe, does not proc on armor nukes. So tanks that rely on armor nukes to deal their damage can't really make use of it. Endurance, kind of a worthless stat. There might be an argument to drop 100 dex instead of 100 luck to pick up 100 charisma if you want to pick up 100 charisma, which isn't a bad idea with the whole love potion, vampire, shadow feeders meta that we have going on. So yeah, basically the build, we don't really have a good third stat. So your third stat's kind of just a dump stat anyways. So after you get your intelligence luck, you don't really... I think the initiative's also worth just picking up the intelligence, the dexterity also. So yeah, that's my take. We're gonna stick intelligence, dex, luck until something else changes, or until someone comes up with a better argument for swapping one of the stats, but I think the dodge is worth taking. Unfortunately, the change is only just in an attempt to make ranged more viable, which it was already viable. I just fucked over a bunch of other classes. But that's what happens when you try and balance stuff. Not everyone's gonna be happy. But yeah, build stays the same. We just lose a chunk of damage, I think. Or not even a chunk of damage, just a chunk of hit. But it's not that big of a change. Ultimately, the biggest change this affects is DPS warrior losing half, or not even half, but a percentage of its arsenal because it can't use ranged weapons effectively anymore, which is unfortunate because they're probably going to switch to endurance over dexterity because they make better use of it. and then it's gonna be like strength, luck, endurance, and they lose access to all ranged weapons, which is unfortunate because they used to be able to split ranged and melee weapons and actually make good use of both of them. But yeah, that's my opinions on the changes. Mages, don't see any changes. This also really nerfs what is it, classic hybrid. Gets basically, I think it's no longer viable at all. I think you have to go the new hybrid, which is luck based hybrid, which is unfortunate because classic hybrid was my favorite build, even more than mage. But yeah, the changes don't change our statting.